Wow, you already know what it is. Big Dog Chico right here on the Bleacher Report app with your preview for the Colorado Buffaloes versus the Arizona State Sun Devils at Folsom Field this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Number 25 ranked Arizona State still in the running for the Big 12 championship, but we think Juju Lewis and the Colorado Buffaloes are looking to be spoiler in their final game at home this season. Coach Prime and the Buff have struggled to find a way to close out games this season, have found a way to lose games due to penalties and mishaps all throughout this season. They've been that close in many ball games. So this week they're going to try to change that. Coming off a bye week, Juju Lewis had a chance to prepare as the starting quarterback. Reports have been coming out of practice, and I've seen footage of him taking more of a leadership role on his offense, being more vocal, talking to his wide receivers, getting on the right page with his offensive line for the protection and all of those things of such. So I think Julian Lewis will play a much better ball game than he played the previous week at West Virginia, where he threw for 299 yards as a true freshman starting his first ball game. Like I said before, they'll have Jeff Sims on the other side, but they might be without former Buff and their leading receiver, Jordan Tyson, who's nursing a hamstring injury. If he's not available to play, that gives the Buffs a better chance, I would say, to get the win. As far as the tail of the tape and the key stats for both teams, Arizona State, who's 7-3, 5-2 in the Big 12, they're averaging 24 points per ball game. Quarterback Jeff Sims is completing 55% of his passes. Running back Raleek Brown, we're going to have to stop him, 823 yards on the ground. For Colorado, 3-7, 1-6 in the Big 12, 22 points per ball game. Colorado's averaging 331 yards total offense. That's 209 passing, 122 rushing. Can the Buffs step up in this ball game? Well, to do so, to get a win, they're going to have to rely on that run game, not just Julian Lewis, and they're going to have to force some turnovers like they did the last time Jeff Sims was the quarterback at Folsom Field. He was the quarterback for Nebraska, fumble, pick, which helped turn that ball game for the Buffs and get a win. Can they do the same thing this week? We shall see. The opportunistic defense will have to be just that versus an Arizona State team that will give you those opportunities. But if you can't stop them in the run game, they will keep that ball. They're one of the top teams in the Big 12 in time of possession. So Colorado's defense will have their hands full at Folsom this Saturday. So y'all make sure y'all tune in on ESPN2, 8 p.m. Eastern is the kickoff. Number 25, Arizona State, 7-3 versus Colorado, 3-7, trying to get a win in their final home game of the season. Let me know what y'all think. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. Make sure y'all follow me on all platforms, BiggDogg's Big Dog Chico, and also on the Bleacher Report app. Following the ball game where I'll be live play-by-play, I will come and give you my instant reaction right after the game live on the Bleacher Report app. So download today and follow me. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. We're going to be up around the same.
We got Arizona State coming to town. They are sitting at 7 wins already, so they are certainly bowl eligible. Can't play a spoiler in that regard, but can mess with their math as it relates to the Big 12 championship or any thoughts to that. When I look at our past weeks of inability statistically to stop the run, and I look at their quarterback who's in because of injury, and I'm looking at the past games, even though they've won them, you're passing about 50% or less completion rate. I expect Arizona State's going to come here and try to run the ball.
You got to stack the box, and that's your only chance against this football team because Jeff Sims is a dual threat quarterback, and we've seen what that can provide as challenges for this Colorado defense. You hold Arizona State to under 200 yards rushing in this game. I think they come out with a win. Now, the problem is that Colorado has struggled against Power 4 opponents to do that so far this season. So, yeah, this is a big week for that front. They got to show up and they got to show out, and it's going to be an opportunity to really kind of change the trajectory of kind of the narrative of this program going into the offseason. And so there's a lot to still play for, despite that 3-7 record. And this is a tough matchup, but Arizona State doesn't have Cam Skadaboo anymore. He was the heart and soul of that football team last year. They've bounced back from some tough losses. Was it Mississippi State? I think they lost to on the road early in the season. But they're 7-3, so they're a solid football program. If you're Colorado, though, you show up and do what you're capable of. You can leave Folsom Field with a win for sure on Saturday night.
Deuce, let me get your thoughts on. I look at the past 3 games passing wise: 6 of 11, 13 of 24, 19 of 28. All those are less than 50%. And then again, looking at the yards we've given up to teams, We've pretty much allowed people to exceed their rushing averages. Are you on board with Adam that stopping the run is going to be key to this? I think you muted that, Duke, so at least I can't hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when it comes to stopping the run, it takes when you have to load up and stop the run. If you can stop the run without dropping the safety, it allows you to do so much more in the passing game and passing defense, and it helps you. But when you have to start bringing sometimes 9 up to stop the run because you aren't able to do it out of base sets, it really impacts you as far as what you're able to do when you go to the passing game. How many times have we seen the quarterback rollout and tight end flat combination be ran against Colorado? And that's all based off of having to bite hard on pause, but having to bite hard on the run. So when you see the RPO and you see when the RPO fake, roll out right, tight end flashes, it's either that or a mesh combination. Colorado's been being killed with that all year, and that's a pass that's based in a run. So I think by being able to stop the run early, you allow yourself to get a little more exotic on the back end when it comes to what you do with your safety. So I think it's paramount to them winning.
Adam?
Yeah, no, again, you hold them to under 200 yards, you're going to win this football game. This is an Arizona State team that is very solid and is well coached. Kenny Dillingham is a name that's been brought up for a lot of these national jobs. I don't think he's leaving, though. I think he's a Sun Devil, man. Like, he's got a deep passion. I appreciate that, too. Like, I think when you find a program that fits with your beliefs, that you have a passion for, and you can kind of build that over the course of time, it's really going to breed results for them. And if you're Kenny Dillingham, they're going to pay you. You're going to be just fine in life, and you don't necessarily need to chase that next carrot to have all this pressure hanging over you. I was surprised that James Franklin is not on a beach right now, and he's going to Virginia Tech. These guys were just wired a little bit differently, I guess. But Kenny Dillingham
and let them off the hook for $49 million. That's crazy.
No, you'd never see me again, Dukes.
You would be the ninja.
Yeah. The samurai. Yeah.
Yes.
Man, but Adam, I was going to ask you this. So how important, so, we've seen people ask a ton of questions about Colorado's high school recruiting lately. How important is Julian Lewis's play to helping other, and you've been covering recruiting for a long time. How important is Julian Lewis to have his play to the recruiting efforts for the high school level kids?
I think it's really important, Dukes. I know Coach Prime says we don't have a sales pitch, but you have people paying really close attention to your program when you're being recruited by them. And the narrative, if Julian Lewis goes out there and balls out the next 2 weeks, despite what Colorado's record is it's like the future is bright and bolder. And come be a part of a piece around him. Come be part of, as Coach Prime says, be a dog, don't be a cat, don't be scared off. They've lost 3 commits in the last month and some talented players, but this is the transfer portal era. So you can find ways to mitigate that. You can find other prep recruits. The early signing period is the first Wednesday in December this year, as opposed to being closer to Christmas. So you might have some more guys that are on the market for that February signing period, as compared to recent years where they've had that later early signing period in late December. So being able to, I guess, sell is not the right word, but being able to paint a picture of what Colorado's program is going to be behind this 18-year-old that's going to only continue to get better is going to be a big part of the discussion for recruiting in the coming weeks. And so if he continues to go 299, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, show a few things with his legs, going into the offseason, they're going to be able to have that as something that is going to be attractive to not only offensive players, but defensive players want to come in and be part of a successful program as well. So it really is like, I think that the transition in the shift to the future with Julian Lewis at quarterback and some of the other guys that are coming up in this program is big for these last 2 games. And otherwise, there's no reason to tune in. This is why to tune in, is building for the future and kind of getting that momentum into the offseason.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that, Adam. And you talk about some of the commits that have been quote unquote lost. Uh, Frankly, none of them have been lost because of the record, and so you're still trending in a direction where, even though the season hasn't gone the way you want it to, the people who want to be here because of or without the record, you'll still want to be here. And I think that when you look at Duke's, what starting Juju now means to the future, I agree with everything Adam said. But I think just as important and maybe even more important is the track record of Coach Prime since having been in Colorado or even at Jackson State, that he recruits people to play that can help right now. He's not recruiting people to sit you 2 or 3 years. And each season that goes by, you see people out there as freshmen contributing. When you look at the Taco Bell program, other than Jordan Seaton on there, who's relatively young in comparison to what you could be in college, it's all guys who played as freshmen on on these ads. And so from an NIL perspective, from a playing time perspective, from a impact that you have as a high schooler perspective, although we live in a portal era and Coach Prime was dinged pretty bad about how he utilized the portal, and now everybody does it the way he did it. No one is playing more guys out of high school than you get a chance at Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has to be a selling point. There are going to be guys. There are only so many starting positions in Power 4 football, and I think this is a program that you can sell the fact that if you're ready now, you can play now. There are some places where you're just not going to play as an 18-year-old just because of who's in front of you. There's no way you can play, and I think Colorado is one of those places that, regardless of the situation, if you're the best player, you'll play. Politics be damned, NIL be damned. If you're the best guy, you'll play. And I think that's something that is important to keep in the forefront when you're recruiting. And I think you have a season that doesn't go the way you wanted it to. The good thing about Colorado and what a lot of coaches haven't had that have still had good recruiting seasons, that's what I came from, recruiting. They have proof of concept based on what Colorado did last year with the right guys, with the right leadership, with the right blend, coaching and players. All in all, it's been proven that you can win and you can win big in Colorado. So I think with that being said, I think there's an opportunity for Colorado to make strides over these last 2 games and to set yourself up nicely going into next year.
And Dukes, that's why I love. I'll circle back to it. Getting one of these two for sure, but if you get both of the remaining games, there's just no debate about it. And it's amazing that the opposing coach pointing it out to the world, but no matter what you think about this record, you still have a program in better shape than Deion Sanders found it. Someone handed you the keys and there was one win, and even in this ridiculously horrible season, you got 3 wins with a chance to get that to 5. And so, as it takes a good bit of effort and time for a ship to turn in the ocean, same thing with a collegiate program that had fallen off that bad, the arrow is still pointing up. When you look at the young players out there doing their thing, and people see that, it's still an attractive place, whether you're a portal guy, a grad student, or a high schooler, because you see I'm going to be a part of something that's trending in the right direction. And it happens to have Deion Sanders as the head coach.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I watched 22, man, around here in Boulder. Things are a lot better now. I can confirm that.
Well, Adam, we talked about
now
go right ahead.
The Utah and Arizona games were not fun. They kind of gave me some flashbacks. But aside from that, it's much better now. Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to Reggie Calhoun Jr. this morning, and I was saying, man, what was so painful about that is that they were back to back, and when you look at the 4-win season, the only trouncing we took like that was Oregon. I mean, we stepped off the bus and that game was over. We didn't compete in any facet of it and had some of our most talented players, coaching staff, you name it. But then you go fast forward and get to this season and it happened 2 times in a row. It's just like, oh man, like does 2 times mean 3 times? Does 3 times mean 4? It doesn't take a lot for a wobbling wheel to come all the way off. But I think the ship has now stabilized when you look at the performance there, particularly in West Virginia. You can almost start the season over in some regards right there because you have a new quarterback. So you go into West Virginia, 0-0. And now you're 0-1, and you want to see if Juju Lewis can get you to 2-1, as quarterback with 2 games left. Adam, we talked about the not sitting in the linebacker room and our guaranteed must that we got to keep them under 200 yards to win. Whether it's around 180 or 210, what do we need to do when we have the ball to win? What are you looking for out of this Colorado offense to put points up?
Creativity, and I know there can't be a complete makeover of this offensive identity even when you have a bye week, but wrinkles here and there. Just you've got some things that you can work with. You got Draylon Miller and Cam Michael that can do some stuff. Wildcat quarterback wise, you just gotta take as much pressure off Julian Lewis while giving him opportunities to gain confidence and experience in that. And that's a tough mix. I mean, like, obviously that's above my pay grade. If I knew how to exactly dial that up, I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now. So it's going to be a challenge, but they've had this bye week. You can get some different things in there that maybe Arizona State is not expecting to, because you've had a few extra practices to kind of implement some stuff. But, all eyes are going to be on Juju. This is the second game of his future here at Colorado, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, and Duke's he's wearing a number. This will be his home opener as well as starter, because we were on the road when he got the go ahead. But number 10s at quarterback have been successful at Folsom Field. What are you looking for out of Juju, your homeboy from Georgia, and the rest of this offense?
Man, I just look for Juju to pick his spots to take shots. I think that's going to be important as far as not looking for the big shot every time, but knowing that it's there and taking the shot when it's there. Like, so we talk about baseball, right? If you swing for the fences every time, your batting average is going to be low. But if you make contact, 4 singles still equals a run. And I think that's what you got to do. Take the singles, dink and dunk, be patient. And then when you get your opportunities to go downfield, the good thing about Juju, he don't miss. When down the field, when you look at his accuracy, historically, his accuracy on deep balls is pretty good. And I think as far as him learning the timing of playing Power 4 football, playing Big 12 football, is only going to help his accuracy when it comes to deep and intermediate passes. So I'm looking forward to just seeing him be who I know he is, and who he's been. We always talk about proof of concept. He's got proof of concept. This ain't nothing new. And I think and it's really dope to see how the city of Atlanta was watching Colorado. Like, of course, there's a lot of people who, a lot of Colorado fans in Atlanta. There were even more watching. You could go, like, sometimes you won't see a Colorado game in a sports bar. Damn near every sports bar in the city had Juju on, and it was a talk of the town. So it's been exciting. He's been doing it for a long time, and I'm just glad and hope to see him do it again on Saturday.
Yeah, and I don't want to go too far ahead from this particular Saturday, but when you mentioned the love there in Atlanta, I don't know if we're going to add a week 0 or quote unquote week 1 game in August, but the first game in September 2026 is Colorado at Georgia Tech in Atlanta. And so that's going to be a great time for the buzz and the Juju hype to go to a whole nother level, Dukes.
Oh yeah, it's going to be off the chain. And you got to think, like, Carrollton, Carrollton High School was built like one of those schools on Friday Night Lights. It's not quite Buford, but it ain't far off, right? And so seeing it's going to be really fun to see him in that large of a stadium at home and seeing how he performs. And hopefully, the Buffs will be in a better position than they were at the start of the season this year. But they wasn't far off this year. And that's what's been the most frustrating thing about this team, is that you saw that they weren't far off. But sometimes when you have a wobbly wheel and you don't fix it, guess what? The car runs off the road. And that's kind of what happened. But you started to see remnants of what you saw or the flashes that you saw at the beginning of the season in that West Virginia game, where if you get competent offensive play, complementary football, the defense plays better once you're able to keep them off the field and they can stay rested. So I think I'm definitely looking for pace, which is important in football. We always use pace in basketball, but pace is really important in football, not only offensively, but it helps the defense readjust and gives you time to make adjustments. Arizona State could come out here and put, like, for example, Auburn plays Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago. Vanderbilt goes hurry up for the first time all season. No time to kind of adjust. They put up 40 points on Auburn, who hadn't given up 24 points in the game all season. No time to adjust. So by being able to play complementary football, and you give the defense time, you give Livingston, you give the guys in that defensive huddle a time to make adjustments. And I think that's why we always talk about complementary football, and that's one of the unsung reasons why it's so important.
Yeah, I love that, Dukes, and I'm gonna start where Adam started with that creativity. And I think that creativity, excuse me, has to start on first down. When you got a freshman quarterback with his second game, putting him in an advantageous situation with second and third is very important, and that starts on first down. If this offense, with that creativity, Adam and Brett Bartolone making it happen, if we can get somewhere between 4 yards on first down, that really just opens up a playbook for like a Juju and what you can call, and it just puts the defense in a state of unreadiness because they don't know what's coming. They don't have a lot of film on this guy unless you go back, to high school. And with the creative package and doing some things you didn't show in West Virginia, you got an opportunity to keep this defense, quote unquote, on his heels. And when it comes to Juju, the hair is braided this week, so you will not be tackling him by the hair hanging out the back of the helmet because it's braided and it's braided tight like Chico. So we're good to go there. I like what he brings to the table. I think again, doing some creative things on first down, to stay well ahead of the chains, opens up the playbook and even more creativity on second and short and third and short. Even situational when now you can even go for it on fourth down because maybe it's fourth and a yard or fourth and inches because you took care of business on first. I think just as much, Adam, as you said, keeping these guys under 200 yards wins us the game rushing. I think watch what we do on first down or don't do on first down from an offensive standpoint, and that's going to dictate the outcome of the game as well.
Yeah, that's really well put. I think with Julian, part of this process has been just maybe taking ownership of this, right? Like he's such close friends with Caden Salter. Do you think that there was some apprehension of him just kind of trying to step into this leadership role the way he has since he's gotten that call because of that?
I don't know about apprehension the way it was framed there, but I will tell you this from my optic test, my eyeball test. Whether it was summer one, summer two, or whether it was fall camp or either first two or three games, I think a young 17-year-old Juju Lewis was comfortable being the heir apparent versus fighting for the job and proving he could do it now. And so I think he just took a kind of a back seat to the name of Salter and who was QB1, almost from a respectful standpoint. Like, no, my time is coming as he is now. I will just wait my turn instead of, claw scratch to get it. Over those weeks after that, particularly when Staub got to play in Houston, I think you saw a new Juju at practice and in meetings, and he rose to the occasion. And now since getting the job, before the bye week, going into West Virginia, et cetera, he looks the part. Adam, if you ever talk to somebody, you know them, but you've talked to them so few times you don't recognize their voice. I don't
Sure.
know if the players in this team 3 weeks ago could have picked up a phone and knew that was Julian's voice on the other side because they didn't hear him. Salt's voice, Jeremiah Brown's voice, Ben's voice. There's certain people in the room. You coming down the hallway here, Warren Sapp's voice. I don't know if people in this organization even knew what Juju Lewis sounded like 5 weeks ago. But now everybody does because he's vocal. He's accepted that leadership role, and I think that's going to translate onto the field, especially if you can put him defensively. In a situation where we got some 3 and outs going, offensively where he's successful on first down, and you can take those kind of shots that you're talking about, Dukes. And the same thing with special teams. I would rather give my freshman quarterback in his first start at home 60 yards to get to the end zone than 80 because I didn't do something right on special teams. So special teams is going to play a big role in his success as well.